most guys who are into gold are, very often, a lot of guys who are into gold, I should say, don't like having it stored by other counterparties because, of course, they can go default. It goes against why you would own gold in the first place. That said, Robert, I would say if you do own quite a large amount of it, you should invest very heavily in make sure it's very secure, your operational security in not allowing other people to know that you've got it and hiding it away and making sure that they can't steal it from you. Regarding armed conflict, well, it's not, maybe it'll save your life, but regarding inflation during armed conflict, it'll certainly help you there as an investor. When it comes to, what you should be really, really worried about during armed conflict, it certainly helped a lot of people in the past. I believe during the first Gulf War, a load of RAF pilots were given, bags of 10 gold sovereigns, I believe, each from Her Majesty's government, because sovereigns are very well recognized in the Middle East, and a load of those were returned. I believe they're now in a museum somewhere. But there is a military recognition of that, of the value of gold, the power of gold. People talk about having a silver tongue, but a golden pocket is very valuable as well. John, would you add anything to that? I mean, we're getting pretty dark here with all the war stuff, but
look. I mean, no matter what you expect for the future, you should own some gold. Okay. However, you do need to think through how you own it. If you simply own a small amount of gold and you kind of like collecting coins and whatnot, fine. You can keep it at home. But if you're going to allocate any meaningful portion of a major investment portfolio, your nest egg, your retirement funds, etc., if you're going to allocate a meaningful portion of that to gold, and I think you should, regardless of the doomsday talk here, right? I think you should own it as an insurance policy regardless. You really, really want to rely on a third party, but you want to rely on a third party that does not have a direct debt and leverage link to the modern banking system. And there are many ways to do that. There are many gold custodians out there, precious metals custodians, if you'd like to generalize, who provide extremely low cost custody, which is totally outside the banking system. There's no debt involved. There's no leverage involved. Indeed, securities law isn't involved because you simply own the gold directly under so-called bailment law. That is, they're simply the custodian of your asset, but the asset is not itself a security. And so there's no force majeure. There's no other potential securities fraud hocus pocus that can take place there. And there are very, very reputable firms that can provide that sort of service for very low cost. So that is my recommendation for people who want that insurance policy that precious metals can provide. So again, as Boaz says, I'm not going to offer investment advice in that sense, but it's kind of funny. I mean, the meaning of investment advice actually falls under securities law. So when you're talking about precious metals, as long as you're not recommending a listed product, it actually doesn't count as financial advice.
Right. Yeah, indeed, John. I would second what John says. It is, while you should definitely have a bit of gold, I would say, for the future as insurance. If you do have an awful lot of it, it does become a little bit of a liability in case anybody does break in, because you can't really get a lot of it back if they're very good at what they do, which burglars, of course, often are, sadly.